Hello, Maria. Will you introduce yourself to everybody listening?
Hello, my name is Maria Davison. I'm the ward sister of a community hospital.
Thank you. And thank you very, very much for agreeing for us to work together to demonstrate how you put a one-page profile together just using about 6 questions. So the image we've got on the screen is the headings of a one-page profile. There's a place for your photo. The first section is about appreciation, what other people like, love or admire about you. Then what's important to you, and then what good support looks like. So Maria, let's go to the first question, and then we'll demonstrate how we take the information that you give me to put into a one-page profile. So the first question is about people. Can you tell me who the important people are in your life?
The important people in my life, my son, Kieran, he's 12. He's my world. He's the most important in my world. We do everything together. We like to go on holidays. We've been all over, actually. He's a well-travelled child. We spend most of our time laughing, having fun, playing about, really, smiling. I've got a lot of important friends in my life. And my partner. He's important. He's called Paul. And I work with an amazing colleague as well, who's a massively important part of my life, Joan.
Brilliant, thank you. So from that, if we go on to the next slide, I'm guessing from what you've said, and it was really obvious because you said he was your world, so that gives you a really strong clue that your son Kieran's important to you, and your partner Paul, and Joan as well. So what kind of things do you and Kieran do together? Are there some things during the week that you always do together as well as going on holiday?
I wish we could go on holiday every week. we make sure that each week, because I am busy as well, we make sure we have the time together. We go out and eat, quite a social eater, so we do that. He's very, very active, my son, so he likes his football, and we try and get involved with that, but mainly just spending the time together and finding that time, really.
Okay, that sounds lovely. And Joan, do you see Joan mainly at work, or do you see him outside work as well?
I see him all the time, all the time. I don't actually see Joan when I'm at work, because we work in different areas. We're only linked through projects of ours, and just the fact that we've both got the same passion for what we do. So we're linked outside of work more so than through work. He comes round and we've basically got headquarters in my conservatory, and we work away towards whatever project we've got at the moment.
Brilliant. And how often, so given that you don't work with Joan, would you say do you speak to him every day, or how often do you speak to him or see him or contact him in different ways?
Well, if I went for a full day and I'd not heard from him, I'd think something was drastically wrong. He likes communicating a lot. So we do speak on the phone mainly. He's quite difficult to understand at times because he gets that passionate about things. He talks so fast, so we normally resort back to being in text or typing when he's not actually here. He calls in a couple of times a week, and we schedule time together so that we can work on projects.
Wonderful. So what I'm doing here is checking the information with you that I've got it right, and then adding the detail. So it's not just that he's important to you as a friend, but how often you see him and how you stay in touch as well. So that's perfect. Thank you. Let's have a go at another question. So the next question is about your best and worst days. And if we think particularly about work, what does a really good day at work look like for you?
A really good day at work, it would be to be able to finish the shift and walk out knowing that I'd done what I'd wanted to do. I'd made a difference. It's nice to have that impact and to see that difference, but also to be able to walk away from your shift and know that your whole team feels that way, that there's not been anything that's not been dealt with or any traumas or anything that have cropped up. It's nice to be able to think back at the end of the day and just reflect a little bit on your shift and be able to remember and have a little laugh to yourself that this happened or that happened. So I like it when it's a good team atmosphere and we're actually hitting what we want to do.
Brilliant. Now, if you're going to have a bad day at work, what kind of things would be happening as well on a bad day at work, your worst day at work?
My worst day at work would probably be to the days and they do happen, unfortunately, but the days where the day is taken out of your control, things crop up that weren't planned and it takes it completely out of your control. That's okay until that has an impact or something on, especially on my patients. So anything that happens and occurs that affects my patients and what they want out of life itself for that day is obviously a bad day for me. When I can't control it or solve it, that's the worst ones.
So tell me a bit about being in control and being organised and how you like your kind of pace of work to be. How would you describe the way that you work in terms of how organised or how flexible you like to be?
I don't look organised, that's for sure. Everybody says it. I'm a bit, I appear unorganised. I've always got paperwork everywhere, even at home. Flexibility is massively important to me because I go at 100 miles an hour and I sometimes have to catch up with myself or I'll go off on a tangent. So the flexibility element is massively important.
And if we look now, so I'm going over to the next page, so I'm guessing from what you're saying that finishing the shift knowing that you've made a difference, so making a difference in patients' life sounds important to you, and also working as part of a positive team where you can have a laugh together sounds like it's important to you as well. And we talked a bit about being organised and being flexible, so I'm hearing that being able to work in a flexible way is important to you as well. Do you agree with those? How would you phrase them?
I do agree with that, yes. That summarises it perfectly. It's very important to me. Ultimately, it's my patients and their outcomes measurable against what they're actually wanting their outcomes to be. So the flexibility side is because they do things that aren't predicted at times and that they are quite random at times as well, so I like to be able to meet their needs.
Brilliant. And if I was suddenly to come and work in your team, because you said that you don't look organised and you have paperwork all over the place, do you like people to come in and sort out your paperwork for you or tell you that you're being messy, or how do you like people to support you around the way that you like to be organised?
Well, everybody that knows me has learned this. I think I am organised. It's an organised chaos in my world. So the people that come and try and tidy it up drives me mad. My mum tidies up, and I can never find anything afterwards at home when she's been. So please don't touch my paperwork.
Brilliant. So we'll put "Don't touch your paperwork" on the how to support you successfully section. So what I'll do is I'll now put that on your one-page profile for you. So we've got some information about what good support looks like. Don't try and tidy up and sort out your paperwork. And we're learning about what's important to you, about your family, your partner, and how you and Joan work on a lot of projects together and how often you're in touch. So I'll put that detail in there. So our next question is thinking a bit more about at home and what you usually do during weekday evenings. So what are the things that you particularly do on a certain day of the week? What does your week look like?
Well, they're very flexible, very different. Because of I work shifts and they're different every week, and because of all the other commitments I've got to different projects and causes, every week is completely different. So there's no set, it's not a fish and chip day on Friday sort of thing. We fit in around the madness that is, really, with everything that I'm involved with. So we can't tie down to a set day. My son does drum lessons, and that's on his set days. Sometimes I'm able to take him. Other times Paul, my partner, will take him. So we all pull in together as a family and make sure that these things are met and completed, really. My mum plays a big part in that. Picking up the bits of that I can't do sometimes. So I rely on them quite a lot for that.
Brilliant. So I'm hearing that support from your mum's important. And you're also talking about projects and causes. Can you give me some examples of those?
I'm working on a couple of projects at the moment to raise awareness throughout the nation, really, for different initiatives that are going on that are with the benefit of the patient in mind. So projects that are actually going to help out and change how care is not necessarily delivered in that way, but change the approach to how care is delivered. I do a hell of a lot for charities. I'm currently organising the Chesterfield Carnival. I'm trying to revive that after 25 years of it not happening. So that takes up a lot of time, and that's in aid of a local hospice. All the funds are going to the hospice for that. So we are currently drowning under that paperwork as well, because everything comes with paperwork, I'm afraid.
Thank you. That's great to hear. So there are no TV programs that you always watch, or any very.
I can't remember the last time I sat and watched TV. I haven't got time for TV. And I certainly can't do films, because I try and watch a film, always set time aside to watch a film. I get so far through and my mind's a million places somewhere else. It's the sitting still bit I struggle with, even down to I hate going to the hairdressers, because I just see it as a waste of a couple of hours sat still. So I'm quite lucky that the people around me are aware of this and they support me with this, or accommodate it, whichever way you look at it.
So tell me about that in relation to what good support looks like, because you're clearly on the go all the time and never sitting still. Is it helpful for other people to know or do around that kind of pace that you work at and the fact that you never sit still?
It's more of what they shouldn't do.
Tell me that then.
Supports me. It really drives me crazy when people tell me that I shouldn't be doing something, because they feel that I'm doing too much. People will say to me, "Oh, you're doing too much, don't do that." That really irritates me, because for me to take on anything that I do in life, it's because I'm passionate and I've got a belief in what it's about. So people telling me that, I find that difficult to take. Support-wise, I like a cup of tea. If I ever look busy and look like I need support, a cup of tea is always a good starting point. But just to let me be, let me do these things and be interested. I like to know that people are interested and want to get on board as well. So even though it might appear manic, and rather than people telling me, "Oh, you're taking on too much," or "You shouldn't be doing that," or "Sit still for 5 minutes," rather than thinking that they're helping me that way around, what I would actually like is if they sat and said, "Is there anything I can do? Can I get involved? And what is it you are doing?" And wanted to learn a little bit themselves as well.
Brilliant. So in relation to supporting you around the never sitting still and the pace and all the things you're committed to, it's about people recognising that, not trying to change it, not telling you to slow down or to stop, and being interested in asking you about it, or even asking if you want a cup of tea if you're looking particularly busy. Is that right?
It is. It's very right, especially the cup of tea bit.
Tell me more about cups of tea. How do you have your tea, and how many cups would you have a day?
Right. How do I have my tea? It's a bit strange, the answer for that one. I have it anyhow it comes. Everybody seems to stand and expect me to say, oh, I'll have milk and 2 sugars, but no, as long as it's got a tea bag in and water and a bit of milk, I'm happy if you put sugars in it, sweeteners in it, as long as it comes to me. I don't mind in what content it is. I normally leave it anyway. I normally have a mouthful out of the top, and then I carry on, or I get sidetracked, and by the time I'm back to it, it's gone cold, and I normally end up leaving it. So my partner constantly just makes cups of tea in this house, and they ultimately end up being all over the sides, all over everywhere, and they're these full cups that have been ignored whilst I've been sidetracked somewhere else.
So the fact that you only have a gulp out of each cup of tea doesn't mean that you don't want tea. It's just that that's the way it works in your life and in your house. Is that right?
That's definitely how it works. And people will say to me before they understand this with me, they'll say, "Oh, we've just made you one and you left it. Not making another one." But I've had out of it what I needed at that time, and now I need some more, but that's cold.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So in relation to what I'm learning from our conversation, I'm recognising that tea is important to you. It sounds like you have it almost constantly, but you'll only take a couple of gulps and there'll be cups of tea around the place. But that doesn't mean that you don't want people offering you tea. That's just how that happens. And what we've also learned a bit is around how to support you, not nagging or suggesting that you stop doing things or you sit still, because that's just not the way that you are. Is that right?
That is right.
Good. Okay. Let's. Thank you. I'll start to put that in the one-page profile, and you'll see that turning up here. Another question there. So, if you are having a bad day, what makes you feel better if you're stressed or unhappy or upset? So, if work has been very difficult for whatever reason, and you're coming home, what would make it feel a bit better?
I'm a very positive person anyway, so. Bad days don't tend to worry me too much. They crop up every now and again. I'm not a natural worrier. My mum's a natural worrier and worries over everything, which drives me crazy. So with my positivity, really, I like to, if I am having a bad day or something's impacted on me, I'm very self-sufficient. I like to think that I can manage. I like to think that I can deal with these things. But if something was impacting me in that way, the support that I would welcome would be just to talk to me. Actually ask me how I'm feeling. Don't assume. People do it all the time. They assume that I feel one way or another. I don't like people thinking they know what I'm thinking without actually taking the time to check and ask. So if you just speak to me, if I'm having a bad day, I'll probably tell you exactly why, and that normally is enough to support me out of it, because that'll get me down the conversation of my life in general, and because of everything I'm involved in, that just reminds me how important things are and puts things into context normally for me.
And Maria, if I was working with you, if I was part of your team, how would I know that you were having a bad day? How do you behave, or how do you show if you're unhappy or upset?
If I'm at work, I don't really show it very clearly, so you have to be quite tuned in to see it. People just automatically see me as the positive one. However, when I was poorly a while back, people seemed to be shocked at work, and they was coming up to me and saying, "Are you okay? Because you're quiet." Because I am normally the one that's laughing and joking and chatting, and so I'm told that I go a little bit quiet.
Okay.
And maybe don't dance as much. I tend to dance quite a lot at work.
So if we go to, from what I've heard, what I'm guessing from that, and you've said directly that it doesn't sound like there's very much that unbalances you, because you're a very positive person and self-sufficient. And I think those are both things that will put in what people appreciate about you. But if you seem a bit quieter than usual, or if you're not dancing, it might mean that you're stressed or upset. And the support that helps you around that is people asking you how you're feeling and not making assumptions. Is that right?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Okay, that's brilliant. So let's put that in your one-page profile here. And our next question, so I don't know if you go to work with a bag or have a handbag or whatever, but are there things that you would never consider leaving the house without, whether that's work or shopping or anything else? What do you tend to always have about your person?
I'm not a handbag person. I'm not very girly, so I'm not a handbag person. And I do have I have a rucksack with all my folders in, because I can't leave the house without it. I've basically got a folder for each of the elements of my project life, really. And it's guaranteed if I left the house without it, somebody would phone and want to know something regarding something that was in my bag. So I do take a rucksack with me when I go up to work. Mm-hmm. My boss said to me the other day, "Oh, Maria, leave your folders on shelf in office. Don't carry them to and from work." But I can't do, because I need them when I get back home as well, and I like to have them all the time just so I've got that information there. And my phone and the iPad, because they've got that's my connection to the world, really. I need that. And if I didn't have my phone, I think Joan and everybody would have a meltdown anyway, to be honest.
And what do you use, I know this sounds a bit of a daft question, but what do you use your phone for? Do you use it for other things than speaking to other people on the phone and texting? Are there other ways that you're using your phone?
I use it for meetings. We have the virtual meetings. We use it for the texting, Twitter massively, massive links on that. We use an app between, I'm one of the leads for Change Day, and all the leads of the different areas, we've got an app that we communicate through, so we've got access to each other always. So lots of different things, really. My son says I'm really sad because I've not got any games on it. But and I play my music through it as well.
Okay, so tell me about Twitter first of all. How often do you look at Twitter or tweet?
Right, Twitter I use when I'm not at work. I've always got Twitter on, either on my iPad or the computer or on my phone. We do use it quite a lot. I use it for networking. I've got a few different accounts. I've got my personal one, and then the one of my role as the Change Day lead. I've got that one as well. But I've also got one that's currently networking and trying to raise awareness of the carnival that I'm organising. So for lots of different reasons, it's used right across the board, from being for personal chats and updates and that sort of thing, right through to work, and then again jumping again and being right through to the charity events. However, I just have to be careful that I don't get the wrong account for the wrong thing, because it gets quite confusing at times.
And you mentioned music as well. Tell me a bit about your music.
I love music. I love music of all sorts, all types, all ages. I'm always walking around the world singing. I can't sing. I know that. You don't need to keep informing me that. People always seem shocked that I like the old music. I like Neil Diamond, I like Buddy Holly, but I do like the current stuff as well. I'm a big believer in the local music scene and encouraging that and the arts through that. I'm currently working with somebody about taking music further on a local basis to break down barriers within the community, so using it almost as a therapeutic tool. My son likes his music. He's a drummer, which is quite loud.
So How often would you say that you listen to music on your iPhone? When do you do that and how often?
Every time I'm in the car, because I run my music through it. So a good few times a day. And if I'm sat at home, I'll have the music on, I'll have a radio on, or my music playing through one of my phones or something like that, rather than have the television on. I never put the television on for a picture. I will put it on for a radio station.
Right. Gosh, so that seems really clear to me that music is something that's really important to you. But it's both listening to it and supporting it locally as well. Yeah. And you listen every time you're in the car, and you have a wide range of musical tastes, from Neil Diamond to current styles. You sing all the time, and I'm guessing that to support you well is not to keep telling you that you can't sing because you already know that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I know I can't, but I hear things differently. And I get a song stuck in my head and can't get it out. So there's no need to tell me in February that it's not Christmas and I shouldn't be singing that.
Brilliant. Brilliant, thank you. So we'll get those on your one-page profile as well. And the last question, Maria, and I've already been learning some things about what people appreciate about you and value about you. You're a very positive person. You're self-sufficient. What would your son, Kieran, say about you?
My son said the other day, actually, to his nanan about me, that he loves me because of how hard I tried for him, and that I worked hard for him and to help other people, and that he was proud of that, which is nice.
Brilliant. And what would Paul say about you?
What would Paul say? We have a lot of fun. He's very proud of the different things that I'm involved with and the passion that I have for a dedicated cause. I'm all for fighting the cause if I believe in it. I like to give people a voice and make sure of that it's heard, and he is proud of that. He's very supportive of that, which is a good job, really.
And what would if Joan was here with us now and we were asking him what he admires about you, what would he say?
He likes the fact that I'm so passionate about patient outcomes and the patient experience. He also, on a more personal note, I know full well, and he won't mind me saying this, that he likes how loyal I am and dedicated, and how I'm always there if my friends do need me or want anything. So he knows that I am there. I am massive access of support for him, and I always would be for everybody in my life. I like to make a difference, and I like people to smile as well. I like to make them laugh, because life's not all that bad.
Brilliant. So just in those 6 questions, Maria, I've got so much information about what people love, like, and admire about you, what's important to you, what makes you tick, and what people who work with you could do with knowing about how to support you well and how to get the best out of you and to enable you to be at your best as well. So pulling that together, this is what your final one-page profile, or rather your start of your one-page profile, would look like. And thank you so much for volunteering to help us show people how in just a few questions, just in 6 questions, you can have different conversations and start to learn about people in a very different way. Thank you.
Thank you.